Ryan, it's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Before you signed on to the film, you had this fantasy about robbing a bank and then fleeing on a motorcycle. Now that you've done it, was it everything you hoped it would be?
No.
Why do you think it failed to live up to your expectations?
Well, I guess in my fantasy of doing it, I wasn't an actor doing it. And when I got there and I was standing on the counter robbing these people, they were just kind of smiling and filming me with their cell phones. And so I didn't quite have the impact that I wanted to have. And then Derek blamed me for that and told me that I wasn't being scary enough, and that it was my fault that they were enjoying it, and that I had to make it less enjoyable.
Even with the gun, cursing them out with your helmet on, they were smiling at you?
Yeah, they just were like, just happy to be in a movie.
You were able to charm them through the helmet of the gun?
No, it wasn't that. They're just happy to be in a movie, you know, and because Derek had cast all these people that were from the bank that we robbed, so they were all tellers or people that worked there.
This was a really exciting day in the life of a bank teller,
it was a nice way to spend the day.
Do you have any other criminal acts that you want to carry out through the magic of cinema?
I mean, none that I'd like to discuss
really?
On camera.
That bad?
No, I mean, I can't. My problem is I voiced that to Derek, and then suddenly I had to make a movie about it, so I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Okay, so you're afraid if you tell me, then it'll be a movie, like next year.
Yeah, I'll have to.
Okay, I understand. I respect that for sure. So there's a scene in particular where you're watching the son you've just learned you had being baptized, and you break down. Was that scripted?
No.
Why do you think that sort of emotion came about, that natural emotion?
You know, I don't know. That's Derek and the way that he works. You know, he never writes into his scripts like these emotional marks that you have to hit, so you never feel like pressure in a scene to feel a certain way or to get somewhere. So any of those things that happen, they happen because he's created an environment, you know, for that to kind of happen naturally. And
he gives the actors a lot of freedom to create their character's look and whatnot. And I know that you had actually decided that Luke would have a dagger tattoo on his face, but then regretted it.
Yes.
But he made you stick with that decision.
Yes.
Do you feel like that affected your performance at all?
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was like something where we wanted to show in the character that he'd had a history of making terrible decisions. So all of these bad tattoos were like a great way to do that. And, you know, but I went too far and I put one on my face, and then I regretted it, and I said to Derek, well, I don't want to have this. And he said, well, I bet you that's how people who have face tattoos feel, so now you're stuck with it. And I did feel a lot of shame about that choice. And you know, and it affected me in the film, you know, when I, you know, had to hold this kid, or I just felt a lot of, you know, shame for these decisions that I had made for this character, and I was feeling the consequences of them, because now I had to do a whole movie with this face tattoo, and it was like so embarrassing that it gave me something that I never really could have acted, you know, and that's what Derek is so great at, is like studying the consequences of your actions and watching people have to live with those consequences.